It's late in the evening, and Interceptor Paul Jacko Jackson is out on patrol when he gets an alarming call.
Appeared to be filing down sort of firearm. Looked like he was trying to make it into a sawn-off shotgun. Capabilities, I believe, to be a shotgun-type weapon. Received?
Yes. There's a member of the public phoned up saying he's seen lads believed to be chopping down a shotgun to make it into a sawn-off shotgun. These males have started discharging the shotgun at an unoccupied premises. So we to attend and to go to the rear yard where this has been taking place and see what's going on.
Jacko's been a police officer for almost 2 decades, and his specialist training in firearms means in situations like this, he works as the Bronze Commander, planning the tactics and leading the operation on the ground.
South RV, why don't we pull into the petrol station on the 181? I'll meet you there. And the North RV can come fair also, and we'll get kitted up and then we'll roll in together.
Jacko rendezvous with the other 4 members of the armed response team at a service station near to the house where the alleged gunman's been seen.
We're just prepping up. The last thing we want to do is roll up to a firearms job and be caught short. We've got to make sure that we've got all our protective equipment on and have our weapons prepped, made ready, so if it is a genuine job and somebody jumps out and points a gun at us, we're in a position to point one straight back.
While they're preparing for the worst, Jacko and the rest of his team also have a number of different weapons they can deploy.
These are baton rounds. It's one of our less lethal options. You don't just deploy with conventional firearms, you've got to have your less lethal options just in case the last thing you want to do is shoot someone and kill them.
After a final run-through of their tactics,
we'll travel in convoy.
Jacko and the team are good to go.
Hello, we've RV'd and we are ready to roll to direct to the scene.
As they head to the scene, Jacko gets an update.
Military officers, the caller is still on the line. He's sitting at the middle with the checked hood. He's currently stood in the rear street, looking very agitated.
Yes. If we're able to keep our caller online until we arrive, we're a couple of minutes out, but going as quick as we can.
On arrival, Jacko and 2 colleagues head round to the back, where the alleged gunman's been seen, while the others approach from the front.
Roger. Have we still got the informant on the phone?
Negative, he has now hung up, but he has confirmed that the gun is in the shed and the occupant is now inside the premises.
As soon as they get to the house, they spot someone at the rear window.
There he is. Oh, please! Oh, no! Oh! Contact, male matching the description. We're on transit with him now.
The man's not budging, but at the front of the house, 2 people have come out and given themselves up.
Yes, we've got 2 males. The front has probably got them detained out the front.
I'll go around and
try and find out who that is.
Okay, I'm coming to you. Do us a favour, other side, go. Other side, thank you.
2 men have been arrested. But the main suspect, who'd earlier reportedly been carrying a gun, remains on the loose.
Well, is he? Put him behind our car and then wait just away from the door.
Stand up. Leave everything there, that's there. Stand up.
Then Jacko spots someone moving inside.
Here he is. Out! It's coming down now. Arm, please. Arm, please. Put your hands on your head. Step out into that wall. Do it now. Drop your knees. Drop to your knees. If you don't do as you're told, yeah. Drop your knees. Drop to your knees. Wow. Right, put your hands on your head. Just put your hands on your head, fella. All right? Right. Don't move, otherwise you're going to get shot. Do you understand? Well, lie on the floor for us. Put your hands in the small of your back. Right, stay where you are, okay?
Jacko's got him, without a shot being fired.
Now to worry about, we've had some crack that somebody in this house has been messing around with a gun. That's why we're here. If it turns out that's not the case, they'll all be sent back inside, no chew at all. But this is the starting point we need to look at, all right? He's been good as gold.
A potentially serious situation has been dealt with quickly and safely.
Right, we'll get you to your feet, okay, dude? 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, up it comes. Tango 1 from OFC.
It's been textbook policing.
We've got 3 males detained. One was the person matching the description to a T without incident. The house is still contained. All 3 are saying there's nobody else within the premises, but there are air rifles. Very straightforward. We've contained the house. The lad who was described was in there. He was a bit arsey. It was just verbal, but he was only going to be given a very short leash before he was back and going, so he's been quite fortunate. But ultimately, he's realised that he needs to do as he's told. So we've got 3 locked up without incident.
Jacko and the team are now keen to find any potential weapons in the house, and it doesn't take them long. Our camera operator's been told to stay outside until they can be sure it's safe.
That's offensive weapons, just changed around a public place, isn't it?
It's like a bow and arrow with a bayonet.
There's a sword under the bed.
Sword?
Yeah, I think so.
Jacko was just went outside with the lad. He's telling me that there's an air rifle in the backyard for definite.
We're just about to have a look at that, mate, but thanks very much. These 3 lads reckon they've been out rabbiting and they've pointed us in the direction of the shed in the backyard where they say there's definitely 2 air weapons. The weapons are down there. They're quite clearly firearms. They'll need testing as well. It may be that they're over the legal limit for poundage. Somebody in the morning will pick the bones out of it. But ultimately, good job.
Jacko, do you want
It's
to
a
come
good
back
thing.
to White side, please?
Jacko's been called urgently to the front of the house. One of his team has found something potentially deadly inside a backpack one of the arrested men had been carrying.
I don't know what it is yet in that bag.
What?
I haven't touched anything else yet.
Tango 1 from UFC.
Go ahead, I'll pass the message.
We've got at the scene here what I can only describe as an improvised explosive device.
Interceptor Paul Jackson has been called to a house in Peterlee, where 3 men had allegedly been firing a shotgun in a back garden.
There he is, there he is. Oh, please! Oh, no!
After a short standoff,
If you don't do as you're told, yeah.
3 men were arrested,
We've got 3 males detained without incident.
and the alleged shotguns turned out to be legal air rifles.
Where they say there's definitely 2 air weapons.
But just as Jacko was about to pack up and go home,
Jacko, do you want
It's
to
a
come
good
back
thing.
to White side, please?
and his colleagues found something in one of the arrested men's bags.
I don't know what it is yet in that bag.
What? Tango 1 from UFC. We've got what I can only describe as an improvised explosive device.
As leader of the firearms team, Jacko's got some tough decisions to make. But the first is to get his team to safety.
I think we best dress back a bit.
And let Control know what's happening.
The crews are just telling us how it's come to light. It's a small cardboard coffee jar. It appears to be filled with shrapnel. It's found in a bag with a set of gloves and a mobile phone. At first glance, it looks like an improvised explosive device. Can you inform local supervision? And I imagine this is going to be one for bomb squad.
While most of the team stand well back, one officer places a ballistics bag, a bulletproof Kevlar sack firearms officers use when checking their weapons, over the suspected bomb to lessen the impact in case it explodes.
Inspector, we have put our ballistic downloading bag over the top of it. It fits nice, just in case it is some sort of crude explosive device.
Evacuate the immediate vicinity to at least 20 metres.
We'll corner off as best we can. We're going to need cops for a containment of the street.
The suspect device is in front of an empty house with 2 derelict buildings either side, so they don't need an immediate evacuation. But the area must be kept clear.
Just the normal cool, calm, tickly night in Beatley, isn't it?
They have no idea what the device is, but they can't take any chances.
So we've got a photograph here of what is a very crude looking device. Things inside here appear to be drill bits and shrapnel, and you've got electrical lights held in place by electrical tape. That photograph's been sent there on the bomb squad, and I'll give them a heads up as to what's to come. Nearly 20 years in place, you find all sorts, but that's a first for me. But it's 2017, and it just takes a nobody from a nowhere village in the middle of nowhere to have a gripe with something. It's worrying, very worrying.
While he waits for the army bomb squad to arrive from their base in Catterick, more than 40 miles away, All Jacko can do is keep the cordon secure.
Hello. How are you doing? You all right? Where you going?
This is it.
Up that way. How far up are you going?
Right, up the top and then up.
You can't get up the top of that street.
All right, okay.
And ponder on what he'd rather be doing tonight.
This is my 11th wedding anniversary. And whilst I promised a fireworks, I didn't expect to be sat in the back street in Peterlee with a jar of coffee that might be a bomb. But yeah, happy anniversary if you watch. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Once the Army bomb disposal team arrives, Jacko gives them the lowdown.
At least one house either side is derelict and nobody's residing in them. And exactly opposite, you've got the mouth of that junction. If you want us to start evacuating houses, we'll make it happen, but logistically it will be difficult, but we'll do that.
You see where the police car is down the end?
Uh-huh.
Like, ideally that, all the way around.
The bomb squad wants all the houses close to the suspect device evacuated. Local residents are going to have a very early wake-up call.
All the occupants need to be knocked out of bed. It's half past 1 in the morning, and they all need to be moved into their backyard for a period of time, which could potentially be anywhere up to 2 hours. I don't think it's going to be very popular.
Thankfully, the locals don't seem too bothered about being woken up.
You're from the interceptors, aren't you?
I look like them. Sound like them, but I'm definitely not.
You are?
And the early morning exodus goes smoothly.
We'll be as quick as we can, mate, okay?
It's all right.
So, sorry about this.
It's okay.
Thank you. There's a lot of people stood out early hours having a cup of tea in the nice freezing cold in the backyards. But it gives them as sterile environment as possible in which to work. I think they're going to put a robot on it first, assess it and see where they go from there.
With the area clear and safe, the bomb disposal robot gets to work. Whatever the suspect device may contain, no one is taking this situation lightly.
Fingers crossed, this is just some bizarre prank-like activity that these lads have been up to, and the bomb disposal will find that to be the case. But we've had Manchester, we've had London. It's a sign of the times, and we're starting to work a little bit more hand in hand with the military personnel. There's no way in this day and age you could look at that device and dismiss it. To do so would be folly, and somebody could have been hurt or killed.
Having had a good look at the device, the bomb squad have made a decision to blow it up with a controlled explosion.
Can you get onto your guys and just warn them that it'll be a small pot that's just us firing our weapons?
OFC to all officers, there should be a popping sound. That's the robot firing its weapon.
Quiet! Stand by! Firing!
If he says it'll be a mild pop.
Now the device has been destroyed, the bomb disposal team examine the wreckage to see if it was in fact some kind of bomb.
There's a couple of chemicals I just want to test. A bottle of peroxide,
Right.
It's been wrapped in clear sedative. I just want to test that, make sure there's nothing that they've been trying to mix up.
The guys from the bomb disposal are now testing the chemical residue left behind following the controlled explosion. Hopefully they're going to come back and say we're quite confident that this is something and nothing, but they might come back and say this has been a genuine attempt at an explosive device. The three that's locked up, at the very least, have got some really difficult questions to answer in the morning.
Having examined the debris, the bomb squad suspect the device was in fact a hoax rather than a real bomb, but they can't be 100% sure.
If we just pack this up and we can let the people back into the houses.
Right, lovely.
And with the sleepy locals heading back to bed, Jacko can finally knock off on what's been a very eventful job.
We were given Firearms Authority around about 10:30 for this one, and it's now 25 to 5, so it's rumbled on a fair bit. It's a good job. It's a really good starting point for the investigation. I think everybody's called the job right and taken the appropriate precautions, and if there is anything quite sinister gone on, then we'll give ourselves the best chance of investigating and getting some successful prosecutions. But short term, I'm knackered, I'm hungry, and I want a Big Mac.
The bomb squad examined the remains of the device the next day and determined it wasn't capable of being ignited and wasn't a bomb, so no further action was taken. The three arrested men were questioned in regards to possession of a firearm, but as the weapons were legal air rifles, all were later released without charge.